This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Boo! I mean, you need a website, so make it with Squarespace. I am back with another magazine video. We are making more art with inspiration from these holiday magazines. I thought it'd be really fun to actually take a full page, or at least an image or picture from one of these magazines and create art with it. So for example, we have this interesting cocktail that I have chosen has minimal text, so we can work around that and draw images or cut and paste things on it. So I've got these two pieces, a 5x7 and an 8x10, so that I can decide how I want to cut these. So I will choose how I want to cut the image and get creative with these spooky magazine images. Let's take these pumpkin mousse parfaits. So we have this smaller image. I don't want to include the recipe. I guess I could work around it, but I feel like doing a smaller image to start off with. So looking at our frame here, I think I would rather have the bottom of the image so that we can put a character standing here rather than crop up here. We could put ghosts or something, maybe characters standing on the glasses, but I think I want the ground. So should I cut this out carefully? Probably. Let's take an X-Acto knife here so that we can carefully cut this out. Ooh, perfect. Bust out the old cutting thing. What's this called? Cutting thing, exactly. It does feel wrong cutting off this cute swirly whip, but oh, and here we go. We have our little cookie image we can create art on. I'm thinking ghosts, and I have to be honest, if I had it my way, I would put ghosts on every single one of these images, but I know how boring that is. But let's just start off with ghosts. Maybe ghosts wanted to eat these cookies, ghosts were fluttering around being silly. What I ended up with was a ghost removing a ghost cookie from that stack of cookies, and then just one ghost really close up to the camera as if it was taking a selfie. I was a little concerned about how to approach these images because I knew magazine paper is not meant to handle moisture. Watercolor? No. Gouache? No. Posca pens? No. Anything wet immediately makes these magazine pages wrinkle up. And in fact, even the slight amount of glue stick that I used made the pages wrinkle up. A glue stick, y'all. Glue sticks aren't wet. I mean, technically they are a little bit, but they're like a solid stick with a little bit of moisture. Anyway, I ripped the head off of our ghost because I was applying the glue stick. So I learned that I had to be very careful with the tracing paper. The tracing paper is what I used for our transparent ghosts. So that immediately put me into a very I'm scared of this project state. But I think this was a good practice. It let me know what the materials were like I was using. It let me know that the tracing paper was absolutely much more transparent than I hoped. And it definitely wasn't picking up on camera very well. And in fact, goodness, I think it's just the shine of the magazine paper, but you can hardly see I even put these little ghosts on the page. In person, you can see them a lot better. On camera, hardly. So that is our test image. Simple and cute, but it's time to move on. Move on, you say? That's right, to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Hey, you're probably an artist. You definitely need a website where you can put your art in a gallery, a portfolio, and easily customize your look with their flexible website templates. Look at my website. I'm pretty sure I changed absolutely nothing, and I'm just using a layout, and it looks great. Okay, that's not true. I definitely edited the text to look like my brand, but that was also very easy to do. Create your very own online shop. That's right, you can be selling your own merch with the help of Squarespace. Super, super easy. And even create your own members area. That's right. Lock the losers out and let the members in. Monetize your content by selling memberships. I could put my new drawings in there. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/KaseyGold and save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. On to our next spooky image. Our next image from the magazine. I saw this, I guess, placematted, nicely decorated yard, and just an empty seat where maybe a lonely ghost could sit all alone. No one came to their party. It would be very sad. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's cut it out. Ooh, perfect. And let's see, if we were to do our 8 by 10, I definitely want the seat to be our focus because that's where our character is going to be sitting. So obviously I will be cropping anything off the top. And here we go, our lonely seat for our lonely ghost. So I knew I wanted to have a ghost sitting all alone on that bench all by itself, but I usually draw ghosts looking like a sheet ghost. Imagine someone walking around with a sheet hanging over their head. That's pretty much how I always draw my ghosts. But I wanted to draw a ghost sitting down, and sure, I could have drawn a sheet ghost sitting down, but what is funnier than a ghost with a big booty? Okay, there's a lot of things funnier than a ghost with a big booty, but I thought it would be really funny if I drew this more accurate body. And what's more accurate than a big booty body? Am I right? Fellas in the comments, let me know. This commentary is off the rails. But then I got to the head of the ghost and I was thinking, what head do I want? And I thought, well, let's just give the head the old sheet ghost treatment. So it's like this sheet ghost headed ghost with a big butt? Question mark? I also wanted to add something in the background. Originally, I did say maybe this ghost was at the party alone. No one came to their spooky Halloween party, but I wanted some more ghosts in the background. So I put 2 sheet ghosts in the background gossiping about our big booty ghost. Now, the material of these is a little bit different than our previous piece because I realized how transparent the tracing paper was. It was so transparent you could hardly see the ghost in the image. I did have one other option I noticed, and that was these sort of fabric-y sheets that came in between clear plastic sheets that I was going to use for another project, and they're a little bit thicker than tracing paper, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to use different materials. For our ghost sitting on the bench, I used that thicker, more opaque, I don't even know what to call it, sheet, I guess. For the character that is the focus of the image, I think it was more important to have a more opaque character that you could actually see. And in the background, I used the tracing paper on the ghost because those ghosts were less of a focus, so I didn't want them to stand out quite as much as our big booty ghost that was at the front of the image. I think using those 2 materials definitely helped. It worked perfectly. I put a witch hat on our big booty ghost. I think the effect turned out really well with this piece, especially seeing the bench go over the leg of the ghost. It really helps you imagine that the ghost is there. Dang, I really said I wasn't going to do ghosts for all of these, and here we are. Here we are, another ghost image. Okay, this was actually the original inspiration for this entire project. When I saw this house with a child running away, all I thought was, what if there's like a monster coming after the child, or we could just completely cover up the child? I don't know. I have to sketch some ideas and see how I feel. Until then, let's get to cutting. How do I want to frame this? Let's see. I think I'm definitely going to want all of the space at the bottom of the image. It does cut off the top of the roof, which might be a bit of a bummer. I don't know, maybe I'll just kind of do it in the middle here. A little bit of the roof, a little bit of the bottom. That sounds about doable. And there it is, we have our child. All right, so here's the deal, y'all. I tried to use everything I learned in the past 2 images to create something a little bit more creative. And like I said, this was the inspiration for this entire project. It's not something I've ever done before. I wanted to try something new, and let's just chalk it up to this craft was not made for me. And that's okay. But I wanted to really put my all into this piece. But man, oh man, this one was difficult. I wasn't sure what to do. Do ghosts make an appearance? Absolutely yes. So I started off with some spooky clouds at the very top of our image. So I approached the lawn. I thought the lawn would look really cute if we cartoonified it in a way. So I cut out layers and layers of grass, cut them all up in little tiny scissory cutty bits, and then used my fingers to shape them and give them texture and bend them a little bit just to make it look like they aren't just a few pieces of paper stacked up on top of each other. This was a good strategy, and maybe this would look look really nice if the complete image was made out of construction paper, but for a photo mixed image, I'm just not sure. It's just so cartoony compared to the photo. I'll be completely honest, at this point, I was just winging it, and I thought, hey, you know what this image needs? It needs more ghosts. So that's right, I cut out more ghosts and I stuck them in the tall grass, and it's very cute. This is a random time to talk about this, but because I am gluing things, I thought I'd mention the type of glue I use is just your basic run-of-the-mill Gorilla Glue stick. It claims that it dries clear, which is fine. However, when it comes to things drying clear, if you're using a completely clear material like tracing paper, things can only get so clear. This isn't a magical world where objects completely disappear from existence and they're invisible. So if there was even a small tiny little chunk of glue stick that got on the image, you could see it through the tracing paper, but it wasn't really that bad. There's just some parts here and there in all of these images where you can see just a little dot of darkness behind our ghosts. But I think our glue stick actually worked pretty well. I was pretty impressed. Anyway, back to our image. I last minute decided to cut out the door of the house, put a black sheet of paper behind it, and then had some ghosts coming out. So I went from how many ghosts can I put in an image to how many ghosts can I put in this image? The little girl is absolutely happy, but I thought she should be running away from this haunted house very scared. There's ghosts coming out of the door, there's ghosts all over the lawn, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that there was a witch inside of that haunted house that turned her upper body into a bat. The whole thing is super goofy. The construction paper cutout is just so different from an actual image that honestly it's hard to even combine the two into one image. It's just so goofy. I'm happy I tried out something like this, but like I said, I don't think it worked very well, but you know what? I gave it a shot, and there it is. Once again, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Make yourself a website, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.